What's up, ladies and gentlemen? So I wanted to tell you guys the story of how I got to be one of the judges of the Louisiana Seafood Cookoff that was held in Lafayette, Louisiana at the Cajun Dome. Well, not technically the Cajun Dome, it was in the convention center, which is like right outside the Cajun Dome, but it was a lot easier for people to find it by saying it was at the Cajun Dome. So anyway, out of nowhere, about 2 months ago, I received could have been email, Instagram, or Facebook, one of my platforms, I had got a message saying that I was invited to be a judge at the Louisiana Seafood Cookoff. Now, I didn't know much about the event, and I've been invited to a few little cook-offs here and there as a judge, all of which I'm humbled to be a judge for. But as I'm seeing the details about this one, I'm like, hold up. Do you think I'm worthy of this? Because what this person is telling me is that the chefs on the panel are chefs that are like well-renowned. They've been on like Hell's Kitchen, Chopped, you know, they own restaurants. These are some freaking bad A's, if I put it lightly. And if anybody doesn't know what I mean, bad A's mean they pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, so, you know, I tell her, are you sure I'm worthy of this? And they said, absolutely you are. And he said, you've been invited by Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser's team to be a judge for this, and we'd love to have you. And, you know, I humbly accept. So the event comes around. Turns out they do a dinner the night before for the chefs and judges to kind of mingle, and I don't even know if the chefs were there. Maybe it was just the judges, because it seems kind of odd that the chefs and judges were there. But maybe they were, I don't know. But, you know, special people in the event are there at the, you know, the night before dinner. They put us up in a hotel for 2 nights. I still can't believe all this. So the dinner's being held at Drago's in Lafayette. We show up there. It's just a beautiful, beautiful little venue. You know, they got a band playing. They're playing some good Zydeco music. Lieutenant Billy Nungesser's there. Got to meet him. We eat some really wild food. They had this alligator that was like roasted, and they had like an alligator jambalaya in the middle, and you know, they just had all kinds of stuff. Alligator tacos, just really neat, really neat. So, you know, we go through that. That was cool. And then the next day comes, and it's time for the event. Well, I don't really know where to get in at. And I'm a t-shirt and jeans type of guy. So like, I'm like, all right, I need to dress casual for this. I brought me a tie, you know, and what have you. But I like messaged the person that was the head person of the event, and they said, no logos whatsoever. And you can't wear jeans. I'm like, okay. So I had some khakis and a plain white long sleeve shirt. Now, we're in the middle of summer in Lafayette, Louisiana, and I'm walking from the hotel across the street to the Cajun Dome, which you think, oh, walk there, go inside. No, the Cajun Dome's big. Got to go all the way around to figure out where I'm at. And I sweat, all right? Maybe like much of you guys who live down here, I sweat. I'm sitting out here right now, humidity's getting high. I already see shininess on my face here. I sweat. So I'm like, there's a time limit here. There's a time limit between cool AC and swamp ass. You know, so I gotta get inside. So I'm walking around this thing. Finally, I find the entrance. I get inside, and I'm just blown away. I mean, this thing's massive. You know, I would have thought it would have been massive just being the Cajun Dome, but this little convention center ain't very little. It's huge. And there's just this back wall of like every chef set up, you know, ready to go. And right there front and center is where the judges will be tasting the food. And I'm just like, holy cow, I cannot believe I'm about to do this, you know? I'm about to be a part of this, you know? Because here it is, you know, I'm gonna be sitting next to people that are, you know, high in the industry of food, tasting food, judging this food. And then on top of that, we're judging people who, you know, have done way more in the world of cooking than I have, you know? So to have been given this honor was just, it's wild. It's really cool. So we get to the stage part, and, you know, sitting next to me is one Jay Ducote, who was season 11's Food Network star finalist. You know, a guy almost won the show. You know, on side of him is Miss Tammy, who's like a Monroe news anchor. I think there was a guest judge on side of her who like won the opportunity to be a judge on the panel. I think they hold a contest. On the other side of me is Miss Susan, who runs Louisiana Kitchen Culture magazine. And on side of her is, yeah, let me think. One second, guys, because I'm so terrible with names, but he owns Dragos. I think it's Tommy. Let me see. Yes, Mr. Tommy. No, see, that's why I couldn't remember his name, because his last name is like... I'm sorry, Mr. Tommy, if you're watching this, I should have got you to say your last name. Svitnovic. That's impressive. So anyway, we're all up there and we getting to go at it, you know, and they're bringing out these really impressive dishes. I mean, the first one brought to the table, I just remember thinking to myself, how am I supposed to take just a couple bites of this and give it back? You know, because I'm a clean my plate kind of guy, and it was hard to look at this, taste it, have to judge it, and then say, okay, I'm done. That made it for a very difficult night. So, also, you know, I want to pace myself here because there's a lot to this. There's 14 plates, and you don't want to eat so much that you get full by the time you get to 14. And then, you know, on top of that, I want to be respectful to every plate, but I know I got to ultimately judge it so that a winner prevails. This was difficult. It's very difficult. Before we get started, they tell us, look, the chefs like when you guys leave comments, so please leave comments. That was vague for me, because when it got to comments, I'm like, all right, do I leave some constructive criticism? Or just like, holy cow, this was amazing. But if I'm judging it and I'm saying, holy cow, this is amazing, and I had to put somebody in the middle line, are they gonna look at my score and go, well, it was so amazing, why am I scored this way? It was tough. You know, so there was a couple times I maybe could have liked to seen a little more seasoning, or, you know, something else stood out more than other, you know, and like I'm thinking to myself, these people are gonna read this and go, who the heck does this dude think he is? You know, I'm really thinking to myself, I'm like, they're gonna be like, you know what, you're so lucky to be up here, buddy, you know, who are you to like even critique our food? But nonetheless, I put some of those notes, also put how it was good, and I just did what I could, you know, and but here we are, more dishes are coming out, you know, they're just coming out left and right, and it's so awesome. You know, they got these like waitresses and waiters that are coming up and handing the food. I don't even know if they were waitresses and waiters, maybe they would just help or whatnot, but they came out, they handed each of us our plate. We get a fresh fork for every meal. We had some wine at the table, I guess, to kind of cleanse our palate in between each tasting, you know, and you know, like I said, I was able to taste such an array of different foods. It was really amazing. And ultimately, a guy named Nathan Richard won with the dish he called Crawfish King Cake. And it was really good. You know, I thought it was impressive. He had, you know, the dish is labeled Crawfish King Cake, but obviously the combination of those two is kind of like dinner and dessert. So it's a fine line where you had to kind of have a sweet yet salty yet savory dish, and he pulled it off. It was great. Every dish was amazing, but ultimately his prevailed. He won. He became the seafood king, and I think he moves on to the American Seafood Cookoff. So hey, congrats, Nathan. Yeah, that's an amazing honor, you know. But ultimately, guys, you know, I just kind of wanted to tell you the story of how this all came to be, and that it's such a cool event. If you get the chance next year, go to this event, because even though the judges are the only ones who actually get to eat the foods of the chefs that are in the contest, behind everyone else was just an amazing variety of local restaurants that you get to try their food. You pay an entry fee at the door, but from there on, you eat till you can't eat no more. And it's just different, all different types of food. There's something for everybody. You know, there was desserts, there was, you know, burgers, there was even authentic ramen. I mean, there was just everything, you know, so definitely check it out if you guys get the chance. And to those of you who were part of this event, bravo to you. Really cool that you go out on the limb there and put yourself out there like that. That takes a lot of courage, you know, and it's amazing. Everybody there to me is a winner, because at the end of the day, I don't really believe in losing. I just believe you learn, you know, and experience and knowledge it holds a lot of value, you know, so bravo to everyone. Thank you to my judges alongside of me, and you know, I appreciate all of you. It was real funny too. Miss Susan at the end had gave me her magazine, and I asked her, I said, "You mind signing this?" And she looked at me like, "Come on." Like, I don't know if people just don't ask her for an autograph, what have you, or, you know, I don't know if she thought, like, why would I even ask for an autograph? I'm above nobody. At the end of the day, you know, I always want you guys to know I'm not above you. Or vice versa. You know, we're all on this stage together. You know, we all just trying to make it on this stage together. And you know, to me, one is greater than 1 million. You know, because I started this platform with 0, so no matter how big it gets, it took 1 to start somewhere. You know, so talking to you. All right, I hope this wasn't too long-winded, guys. I probably could have said a lot more about the event and how it all went down, but I did want to make this forever for you guys. But thank you for hearing me out, and thank you all again for tuning into this platform and allowing me to showcase the things I love to you. And because of you, I'm able to experiences like the one at the Louisiana Seafood Cookoff. But if I get to do that again, be sure to make your way out there and come hit me up. All right, guys. I hope you all have a fantastic day, and I will see you soon.